This one is not appropriate for me to start off with the peace greeting, and I'm not even going to pretend like that. This is going to be a problem, not even for tethers really, but it's going to be a problem for the saboteurs. And the woman that I'm about to talk about, the broad I'm about to talk about, and I damn near cussed, is not a tether. She's not pretending to be African American. She's a saboteur. She's an open enemy. But she's a goddamn liar. And she illustrates further why it is that we need a double standard and why it's fair. See, sisters have been walking around, regardless, well, I shouldn't say regardless of, but across different nationalities, sisters have been walking around justifying double standards that are not favorable to them because of the double standards they have that are not favorable and aren't even fair to us. And to give you an example, I don't know this broad's name, but shout out to Passport OG for showcasing her. And additionally, shout out to S. Jock for wishing my mom and my cousin well. Shout out to Senor Conga for wishing my mom and my cousin well. And shout out to these gentlemen and also Maleka Mebani and everybody else that has congratulated my son. Shouts out to all of y'all. I'm now leaving where my brother lives to drive to the coast to rejoin my parents where they live. And I'm going to spend the rest of this break there until I go back to Saudi. And then make my wife remember why she missed me so much. In any case, I open this up because I'm about to go ham on this B word. And I don't even like pork. I don't know her name and I don't fibberguck. But this Stitch done sat up here and said that African American men can't read, and proceeded to say, I'm talking about just conversation. I don't even date them. You don't have to. But to say that we can't read is a goddamn lie. And that ain't the reason you don't date African American men. Now, I'm a Muslim, lighting into this broad because I'm talking about who she doesn't date. Well, the reason is because who she doesn't date ain't got a goddamn thing to do with chastity. Who she doesn't date has everything to do with ego and bias. I already know this woman here looks at Nigerian men, especially if they are from Nigeria and not the children of Nigerians who started their lives off there. If they are the ones that first crossed customs to get into the U.S., she's even harder on them. She one of them. She needs a man exactly just like her. She needs a man like that. That's just as Nigerian and just as American as she is, because if he grew up in Nigeria, then he's too Nigerian, and she can't deal with that. And if he grew up in the States, and his parents also did, then he's too American, and he's not Nigerian enough. She's one of them. Now, how do I know? Because I've seen it with other nationalities. The other reason I know is that, and this is something that happens to all immigrant communities. It's not just them, it's all. I mean, it happens across the board with Latin Americans. The ones that were born stateside and that grew up bilingual, one foot in both culture, one foot in each culture, are different from their parents. That part is true. And sometimes, and I don't know if it's often or it's frequent or if it's rare, but it is a phenomenon that exists in which those women cannot listen to a man that did not grow up in the States. They just can't listen to him. And some of them will even judge each other by how strong of an accent their man has. Oh, he has the same accent as our parents. He doesn't know what he's doing. And you married him? Girl, that's embarrassing. Oh, you thought it was just sisters. But see, when this chick got to talking, she justified exactly what AC done said. AC said, don't mess with the Keisha from anywhere. It don't matter what their nationality is. AC said that for reasons. He didn't make them up. He said it because that's how they act. Black women across various nationalities are much harder on black men than they are on men of other races, especially white men. They're much harder. If you're black and you're Nigerian, you better not be too Nigerian. You have a problem. If you're black but you FBA, well, you know, you can't read. Now, what if you're black and you're FBA and you can read? You don't need me to tell you what goes on. You're black and you're FBA, but you can read. She's gonna be like, well, I mean, you need a little more swag. Why do you talk like a white guy? But then if she actually gets a white guy, if she actually finds a white guy, she'll feel like she's through the roof. And so I look at even these women of these other black backgrounds that are problematic, and they're a disgrace to the ones that are not. Tanzanian women are not known to be harsh to their men. That's an example. But this woman's not Tanzanian. She's not even a northern Nigerian. I can tell by her attitude she's a southern Nigerian. And this is why it is that what she said is not okay. She said we can't read. The black men who can read are not only ill-treated by American sisters, but they're also ill-treated by Southern Nigerian women, because Southern Nigerian women as a whole take on, at least the ones on social media, take on the same negativity as the Jamaican, the FBA sister, the South African from any large city. They take on the same things. They toxic as shit. They're more toxic than 3-week-old pig shit. That's toxic. They're more toxic than botulism. They sicker than syphilis. And they define who they are partially by how hard they are on their own men. The men they feel that they own. If you don't feel like you own these men, then you ain't one of the sisterhood. And they don't apologize for this either. As far as they are concerned, that's how you become a real sister. The Southern Nigerian. You better be materialistic and hard on these men's wallets and pockets. And don't be faithful, especially to a responsible man that goes to work. Spend that nigga's money, and as soon as he goes to work, you call up a boyfriend who ain't got a goddamn thing but some muscles and a dick. That's what you do. Yes, the Southern Nigerian. The Jamaican. Same goddamn thing. with the Jamaican, I don't have to tell you. The Jamaican women that are not like this will be shamed in the hair salons by the ones who are. Because the broke out woman is going to tell everybody she broke out. And she wants the tame women that ain't broke out to know that she is. Because she gonna brag about that. And all she can really talk about is how you supposed to use these men, because that's all them niggas deserve, is to be used. Nothing else. So consequently, as much as I hate to say this, it's still true. AC was right. You got to watch out for the Tgis. I wouldn't say regardless of nationality, but there's certain nationalities and regions that you got to look out for when they're not even FBA. The black British woman's already gone. Doesn't matter where her parents are from, she already gone. I need a man that can handle me, right? Yeah? He needs to be able to tame the beast in me, isn't it? I'm a boss, babe. He needs to be a proper road man. That's how they start talking. They've been talking like this. And what do they sit up and discuss, even in the UK? How to deal with men, how to manipulate men. And so then this woman sits up and says that we can't read, when really the truth is she has the exact same reaction to black men, FBA or her own nationality, that can read, that an FBA sister has to a black man that can read. Ew. I don't like you. And that's okay, but when I say I don't like you, I'm not talking about how I don't want to date you. It's more like I don't like you because I don't like you because of what's right with you, not because of what's wrong. And when I say I don't like you, nigga, I don't even see you as a person. You're not my type, but nigga, you're not worthy of being treated like a human being. I don't even respect your humanity. I'm not gonna treat you the way I wanna be treated. I'm gonna treat you in ways I would never tolerate you treating me, because I view you as an inferior. And that's exactly what the hell it is that you've been dealing with already from within the FBA ranks, and now she wants to sit up here and try to sabotage African American men. Now the difference is this: she feels the same way about Nigerian men. She wants that white dude. But she also understands that her own parents might get on her ass if she said the same thing about Nigerian men. Now she's not gonna sit up and say Nigerian men can't read and write, because the Nigerian men that go to the United States can read and write. Illiterate ass ninjas from abroad don't normally get visas to go to the States. And I wouldn't expect that they would get visas like that. But I am going to tell y'all straight away. I'm going to tell y'all right off the bat. I'm going to tell y'all that when you get into some other countries, like when you get into Saudi Arabia, you got Nigerians that are professors, you got Nigerians that are doctors, you got Nigerians that are engineers, and then you got Nigerians that are just servants or they washing cars, and they don't have much of an education, and them niggas are illiterate in English, which is the first language in Nigeria. It is Nigeria's official language, and it is Nigeria's lingua franca. They can speak it. But when it comes to writing, they won't spell a goddamn thing correctly. Don't punctuate, don't capitalize, don't spell nothing correctly. None of that. Oh yeah, they're there. They exist, but they don't get visas to go to the States. So if you go to Nigeria, just like in Saudi, you're going to meet Nigerians at all levels of education and all levels of literacy. That's what you're going to find, and that's what you should find. That's the normal distribution. But she knows that if she says something like that in the United States, the men of her community are going to be like, bitch, all of us can read and write. But she really wants to trash black men. And since FBAs are the black men that are most desensitized to it, she gonna do it to us. Bitch, I'm telling you that most black men that are on social media and that have occasion to be in a conversation with you somewhere, wherever you are, can read and can write. Now, do you have some who pretend they can't? Yes. Bitch, I'm also gonna tell you that the African American women that you probably would look up to as long lost cousins of the matriarchy actively seek to sexually exclude black men that are literate and articulate. So in reality, a lot of brothers who can wouldn't do it in public. A lot of brothers still cover up their literacy or their actual reading levels. Should they? No. Do they? Well, yeah. And that's largely because of their loyalty to black women, be it your nationality or ours. And this loyalty causes them to try to cater to what the nigga bitch like you wants, because the black women that don't want the foolishness aren't even presenting themselves. They're in hiding from these hyena monkey bitches that you think are your sisters. They actually probably are, who actively seek to practice dysgenics in our community, who actively seek to either breed white men's kids, and if they can't, then they seek to breed either some more whores for the system or some more bucks, stronger body and weak of mind. And if he comes out, if he dares to come out the womb, black and male, and not one of these muscle-bound bucks, then his job is to be, and they accept this. And you are like right along with this program, bitch. They accept that his job now is to be a stepdad and raise the buck's children. And this is what Joey Staley, a commentator on my channel and my post, called the pink wall of silence. That is the maintenance of women's secrets that women will practice even at the expense of their own sons. The white Western woman has that, and the black Western woman has that, and the black Southern Nigerian woman's got it, and the black Jamaican woman has it, and the black South African woman from any sizable city has the same goddamn thing. And they're a disgrace to the ones who don't, but we ain't gonna find them because these bitches make sure we never do. And this woman is one of those who will try to make sure that you never find a more traditional woman from southern Nigeria or Nigeria at all if you were looking. Because she would shame that woman for treating you well and for not demanding of you that you be a no good nigga on his way to a cell block or a cemetery in order to get her puss. In order to not be celibate. She's one of them. And she really wants to slam black men in general to justify going after that zaddy, but she already knows that if she says black men in general and includes her own in that, her dad's gonna say something. And her mom's probably gonna side with dad. Maybe mom wouldn't. But she does understand that if mama sides with her, dad's probably gonna say, well, screw both of you. At least she's my daughter, but you're my wife. I can change that shit. And you get nothing. Matter of fact, screw you. I'm about to go back to Nigeria. If you want a divorce, we getting it there under Nigerian law, and you ain't getting a goddamn thing. And I'll marry someone else and start another family. She knows this. So she gonna dump on the FBA. And this is part of why I say I'm not gonna sit up here and be FBA gangbanging and try to automatically diss the black men of other nationalities. Or the women automatically. No, they gotta provoke the shit. That's why I say that. Because see, what we're dealing with, the Haitian man is dealing with. Oh, y'all didn't know that, did you? The paternity fraud, the pink wall of silence, the religious belief of the Haitian and Jamaican and African American and Southern Nigerian and urban South African woman that if you are black and male and you ain't one of them bucks with the muscles and the peen they just all want, and your job is to be a stepdad. Even if you were her son, she would go along with that. Yeah, the Haitian man is facing this. Yes. That's why I'm not sitting up here going and talking mad trash about men from Haiti if they ain't out here talking trash about us. They facing bullshit narratives from their women. Same wool being pulled over their eyes. Oh, you didn't know? That's exactly what these broads didn't want you to know, which is why the one from Haiti and the one from Mississippi are sitting in the same hair salon as the one from Southern Nigeria, talking the same shit about their men. And then agreeing to go home and tell their men not to trust each other. Just like a white guy would do if he's a white supremacist and he travels the world. Let's say he's white supremacist and he's a missionary. What the hell you think he's gonna do? Go on a mission to Haiti and tell them don't trust them American niggas and don't trust them African niggas. All of them wanna hurt you. And then they go to the US and say, well, the Haitian hates you and the African was glad to get rid of you. And then go to Africa, all the different countries in Africa, and then tell them the Haitian hates you and the American hates you. Because they see you as a bunch of backward savages. And start telling lies. Oh, they wait at the airport for you to come out. When they see you come out of the airport and you're black, they know you're not black American, so they jump over all the white guys and come and stab you and rob you. Tell all kinds of lies. Yeah, they do that. And now we're finding out that these sisters doing the same goddamn thing. You think the sister that doesn't want you befriending a Nigerian, Southern or Northern, because she FBA, do you really think that she sits in a hair salon and fights with the Southern Nigerian woman who's getting her hair did next door and a chair won over? No, they talk. And even if they're envious of each other for certain things, I'm gonna tell you what they butts don't do. They don't scrap with each other. They try to get us to do it for them. They will compare notes. Well, this is what we do in Nigeria to get this out of our men. Oh, well, let me, thank you, sis. This is what we do in Jamaica to get this out of our men. And this is what we do in Baltimore. This is what we do in Chicago, Atlanta, Memphis, Tennessee. This is what we do in Baltimore. Destroy it. You know, destroyed Michigan? Yeah. They start comparing notes. Well, this is what we do in Johannesburg. Well, this is what we do in Cape Town. How y'all doing in Kingston? What do y'all do in Port-au-Prince? And you sitting up here thinking like an idiot that your FBA girlfriend that you really want to impress, or the FBA chick that ain't your girlfriend, and let alone your wife that you still want to impress, really got a serious true problem with black folks of another nationality, when in reality she just wants you to have it just like a white supremacist would. You think a white supremacist cares? You and I know the white supremacists don't care if they don't care what nationality of black you are. You're black. They just want you to care. Guess who else is included in that white supremacist category? This bitch. And I'm not talking about it because she's Nigerian American. Oh no. Because the FBA Sapphire sister bitch that talks like her, same thing. The yard woman that likes Badman and Rude Boy, same thing. The black British woman, no matter where her parents are from, the black British woman that wants proper roadman, yeah, someone who can tame me, yeah, isn't it? Yeah, that bitch, same thing. She don't care. If you are a white guy, you don't even have to tame her ass. You ain't gotta be muscle-bound buck, nothing. None of that stuff if you're white, but if you're black, it doesn't matter what kind of black you are. If you black, you better be bulletproof and able to fly. And every other woman needs to want you. And that's the same thing when you get across these national boundaries. I have not heard bad about the Tanzanian woman, and I don't want her to have a bad reputation if she doesn't deserve it. I have not heard bad about, I haven't heard bad about the Central African woman, and I don't want her to have a bad rep if she doesn't deserve it. I've not heard bad about the Malawian woman. I have heard about a particular tribe in Malawi and another one in Uganda where they got some real questionable sexual practices. But I haven't heard about the nationalities, and I don't remember the names of the specific tribes. I don't want the nationalities to have a bad rep if they don't deserve it. And that's what makes us better than these Keishas of other nationalities that always want us at each other's throats as black men. So no, I'm telling you to know the distinctions and the commonalities between the different nationalities of black folks, because these are accurate facts. But to not be divisive, because that ain't gonna do nothing but help not only the white male white supremacists, but the black female white supremacists too. And she's actually the one doing the goddamn footwork for Massa. Because Master Charlie knows if he sits up and just walks up to me and tells me that Ethiopian guy over there just called you a slave, he knows I'm gonna bring him with me to ask the Ethiopian, hey man, did he tell me the truth or did he lie? And if he's caught lying, the Ethiopian and I are gonna take turns whooping his ass. And he and I are gonna go and have some dinner later. Me and the Ethiopian guy and I, we're gonna have some dinner later, chop it up. And I'm gonna tell him a little bit about our history that I know he never learned, and I'm gonna ask him about his because I wanna know. He knows that. We're gonna bond over whooping this oppressor colonizer's ass if he gets caught lying. And if there's doubt I'm assuming his ass lied. But sister girl, especially if she's nice to look at, or she looks like mama, comes up to any of us and tells us, hey, look, he over there called you a slave and said you're a narcotic. You're less likely to assume she's lying and more likely to go to him and say, hey man, what's happening with that, bro? Why don't you say it to my face? And if he really doesn't understand, you're gonna be like, I don't play dumb. You know what you said? No, I don't know. I really don't. I saw you, but I didn't say anything about you. I don't know you. What did you hear? And who told you this? You're not starting off with, well, maybe that white dude was lying. You start off with, no, that's my sister. She told me the truth. Not truth, but truth. KROOF. And sisters know that. And that's why I tell you, when I call them sisters, I'm referring to them in relation to each other. We don't assume that they are sisters, because a lot of them can't stand us. And I do feel really bad having to say things like this when they're all sisters that ain't a part of the problem. It does bother me. I don't like going after the innocent. And I don't even like collateral damage. I'm not aiming for them. You're not aiming for them. But this is part of why we gotta have double standards that don't seem fair to them on the surface, but they are when you start to examine. Because you see, they always say, well, if you a good man, go hold that bad man accountable. No good, irresponsible niggas don't tell us everything they doing. One of the ways that a man who has some character, but just a weakness for other women, handles that is that he keeps his friends innocent by not telling them shit. The ones he would tell this to are either the ones he's asking to help him break that weakness or the ones who share it with him. That's how that works. My brother probably does not cheat on his wife. As a matter of fact, he's an ordained minister in his faith now. I'm talking about my blood brother. And I know of instances he's turned away from women that try to get his attention. So with that being said, I seriously doubt that he's cheating on my sister-in-law. Seriously doubt that. But I'm gonna tell you also this. If he was cheating, do you think I'm supposed to know about it? No. If he's cheating and he knows I don't believe in that type of stuff, he would not tell me not only to protect himself, he would tell me mostly to protect me. And that's why if she found out he was cheating and she came to me and said, hey, did you know he was doing this? And I'm like, I didn't know about that because I wouldn't have approved of it. He would have been like, he would step up to protect me and he'd say, no, Black Jet don't know nothing about this. Now he could either say he don't know because I ain't doing it, or he could say he don't know because I didn't tell him. But the point is, he would clear me right off the bat. He'd be like, no, whether I'm doing it or not, he ain't covering for me and I ain't involving him in it. He innocent. This ain't his problem. Don't bring this to his doorstep. That's what would happen. They want to sit up here and turn around and tell us that every time one of the no good niggas they want to fuck does cheat on them, when they wouldn't screw him if he wasn't cheating anyway, then they want to turn around and hold us accountable. No, they can't do that. We can turn around and say to them, hold up, did you know this bitch was cheating? We can say that to them. They can't say that to us. And if she really didn't know, and it seems she didn't know, we don't say, okay, well, look, if she didn't know, we're going to blame her anyway. I'm not saying even that in the double standard. I'm not even saying that. What I'm saying is, if they did know, we got a right to say something about that and to question them and ask them. They don't even have a right to assume that one of us knew about one of our partners cheating. They need to assume we didn't know, and we need to ask if they did. And just go by the evidence. That's another double standard. And even then, I qualified it to make it fair. But we gotta have it because of how they talk. And not only that, black women are more polygynous than black men. Oh yeah, how do we know? Because black women across the board, the good ones and the bad ones alike, black women across the board go for the same few men. Oh yeah, the Tanzanian woman wants the same man that the other Tanzanian woman wants. The difference is they might actually fuck the shuck up about his polygyny. They might just say, well, I want him. Of course another woman wants him. So if he marries 2 or 3 or 4, I'm gonna fuck the shuck up and do my part. I'm not gonna be the one to drive him away. That's the difference between the good and the bad one. The bad one is like, I don't want him if another bitch don't want him. I only want him because other women want him, and he better not be with nobody else. And if he's not, I'm not gonna want him no more, but he still better not be with nobody else. That's the difference between the good one and the bad one. The system is more, and that's across the board, that's the black woman. The black woman is more polygynous than the black man is. Every black man ain't out here trying to have 2, 3, or 4. Many of them ain't. Most would be happy with 2, but they know that the women in their environment are insisting upon being a headache, so that would just be twice the headache. They know that. It's the sisters that are like, if he ain't already fucked somebody else before and broken some bitch's heart, and God damn it, I don't want him either. That's if she's a mean bitch. Now, a good woman is still, when she's black, a lot of times she's still gonna be like, well, I like him, and if I didn't want him, I wouldn't say anything bad about another woman that did, but I like him. I assume some other women want him, and therefore he's probably going to have 1 or 2 other wives. That's the good black woman. She still is not actively looking for the man that's single. She's still not trying to do that. She's not going out of her way to try to pair up with and marry and consummate a marriage with a man that other women ain't checking for. She ain't trying to do that. And that's the good black woman. She just is going to decide for herself who she likes and then assume that somebody else likes him. And if she's really fair about it, she say, well, yeah, polygyny's not against a lot of religious rules, so he'll probably have 2 or 3 or 4. Maybe 1 other wife, and I can deal with that. And if he treats me well, I'll treat him well, and I'm not going to chase him away and drive him right into the arms of the other woman. So that's one of the reasons we got to have some of these double standards. If you're going to be single, it's up to you. But if you're going to be with one woman, it shouldn't be a woman of African descent. Definitely should not be. Why? Because they're the most polygynous. I can tell you now, my daughter-in-law is not looking to see, well, how many other women are trying to get at Jet Black's son? That's not a question in her mind. She's not judging by that. I can tell you that. I met her. I can gauge that so far. And I could, if I wind up finding out that I was wrong, I'm going to tell him, say, bro, well, actually, say, son, you're going to have to find another wife because she about to lose respect. If I see, now I don't see that. If I do, I'll tell him. It's my job. But no, man, I am just done being polite to these broads got the nerve to say this dumb shit they got to say. And I'm glad for the advent of Jesse St. James, by the way. Glad he's doing what he's doing. That's right, Jesse St. James. Give these women a rough ass time. Jesse St. James came on the scene, set traps for these broads, and they fell for it hook, line, and sinker. He married, he checked his tone. All the shit they wanted to get on Kevin Samuels about, he done come along and shown that's not really why you disqualified Kevin Samuels. He done came along and proven to them and to us, no, you disqualified him because of what he said, because he wouldn't go for your bullshit, bitch. And I just proved it. I'm not a misogynist. I'm not a guy no women wants. And I don't have a tone problem. You don't want to be corrected and you don't want to have to meet some standards because you're an entitled bitch. Matter of fact, you're a culture of entitled bitches that really feel like you're just so superior to any man that might actually want your ass. You can't find a man on your level because the minute a man does want you, you assume he's beneath you. And that's how you like it, with your stank crotch ass. And saying all of this in a very nice tone and with nice vocabulary that I decided to just throw off in favor of profanity. He said what I said with the tone they wanted it said in, according to what they said they wanted. Turns out, no, it's the message. Ain't got a goddamn thing to do with the tone. It's the mother cuss word message. How dare you tell us anything and have any mother cuss word standards? If I come to you with more baby daddies than I got babies and tell you you need to be tall and successful and love other men's kids, you should take that. You don't get to tell me what I need to do to qualify. How dare you, inferior ass nigga? And I love to hear what Jesse St. James is going to say to this broad. They had the nerve to get up and talk about African-American men can't read. Bitch, you got more black men in your nationality alone than what we have black people in the United States. How many of them can read and write in their first language, which is English? Don't tell me about just the ones in the United States. No, They were handpicked, cherry-picked, selected by U.S. embassies and consulates abroad. No, I don't want to hear that. No. Go to them taxi drivers in Lagos as well. Doctors, the engineers, and the taxi drivers. And a lot of them taxi drivers got advanced degrees, I know. But go to them and ask them. Give them some writing tests and show us those results. They're going to be all over the place, the best and the worst. I already know. I'm aware of that. But the distribution is not going to be much different than it is for black American men. You just wanted a reason to blast black men, that's all. And I, for one, I want to extend some sympathy to the Nigerian men that have only this to select from. Because I look at stuff like this and I'm like, man, you had to deal with this? I've been seeing this. I've seen them old ass Nollywood movies from the 90s and early 2000s with the sisters bragging about getting them a whitey. Why is she crying over this guy that kicked her out of his house? Oh, he was a whitey. Oh my God, that's horrible. No, bitch, you wanted to know why she was crying till you found out he was white. And this is in your Nollywood movies, so you know that's imitating life. Because art and life imitate each other. No, you just like the sister. You were just more open and obvious about it from a longer time ago. That's all that was. And I, for one, I'm sick and tired of the fact that brothers got to deal with a lot of this stuff in different parts of the globe because they black. Sick and tired of that because, you know, one day Search for a Hoodoo said a long time ago that the difference between the African woman and the African American is that the African woman can't call 911 and weaponize the system against their men, but if they could, they would. That means them bitches are a problem. That's what the F that means. And now their systems are becoming more weaponized against their men. Manosphere Hall of Fame and I both agree that that's a damn problem on the part of the women and the men. Why are you weaponizing the system? And why are you men allowing the system your ass had to build to be weaponized against you who built it? What the F? That's what we doing? No, man. So now that increasingly so in bigger cities on the continent, they can weaponize the system against their men, they're doing it. So that means brothers all around the world are facing and catching it. You got the white chick who can always and always could do it and always would, Grace Jabari. And then you got sisters who are saying, well, we demand to be able to do the same goddamn thing that white bitch can do. Get you lynched. And changing systems where they couldn't do it into systems in which they will be able to. You facing this all over. So the ones that really, you know, for you the best bet, black man, really is the ones that come from backgrounds that don't hate you. Not the white chick, she can't stand you. Not the sister, because she's only a sister to other sisters, she can't stand you. Certain Arab women, nope, And the funny thing is, you got these Arab Libyan women sexually abusing black men in Libya, according to Diaspora News Network. And he had some men on there who had been through this talking about what they've been through. So it is an existing phenomena. I don't know how often it is, but it is an existing phenomena because you got these widows with money and the men won't marry them even though they got money. So they're looking for men they can use for sex. And what they are doing is less insulting than what sisters are doing. At least they'll pour some milk with some kind of something in there to get a man a woody so he can do it, chain him to the bed, and then pay him handsomely when they let him go. And I'm not saying that's a good, positive experience for these men. They got to be chained down to do it. Most men in general actually don't trust strange women. Most men don't. Most men in general actually lose wood when strange women, or can't get wood when strange women are trying to force them. It's not as simple as, hey, look, you look good, let's go into this ladies' room over here. A lot of men don't trust that. These Libyan women out here not only doing exactly that, but then they're paying these men afterwards and then letting them go. Like, go ahead. I'm not gonna scream if you do what I say. The difference is that the sister's gonna scream the R word if you do what she says, and the white woman's gonna scream the R word if you do what she says. The Arab Libyan woman is sexually abusing black African men in Libya will not scream if you do what she says. That's what you're facing, black men. Whether you black American or Nigerian, or Jamaican, or Haitian, or South African, or Cape Verdean, or Angolan, or Kenyan. That's what you are facing. To the white woman, you're a penis. She gonna weaponize the system against you at some point. But she ain't gonna start off that way. And she probably starts off without that intention. The sister She gonna weaponize the system against you from the very beginning. You're a penis that she wants to cut from the time she see. You're just a ding-a-ling. An ATM with a penis she wants to remove from jump. You're an ATM with a penis she wants to eventually turn into an ATM with no penis and no nuts. And then you got some women from other backgrounds that at least view you as a penis for which they're willing to pay, but they're gonna scream the R word if you don't oblige. All three are insulting deals you've been offered. One is less insulting than the other. Black men, you would have, those of you that are Muslim would have a better shot if you went to Libya and said to these widows, listen, you widows can get married. You do not have to go and find the guy and trick him into doing day labor and tell him to hide in the car seat, duck down so he can get into your house. No one knows that he's there, and then feed him milk and abuse him like this. You don't have to do that just to get some sex. You can do this the dignified way. We don't have a problem with widows. We don't blame widows for being widows, unlike your men. You could go to them, you could say, if you have not done this dirty way to get the ding-a-ling from somebody already, because you ain't no good once you do it. But if you have not done it and you just need some sex, listen, we will discuss a marriage in which I will treat you well and you treat me well. And if you want to share with your friends, and ain't no fun, if your homegirls can't have none, they can marry me. I'm not rich, but you already got your money. You just need some love and affection and some ding-a-ling. Okay, I got something for you, and you're gonna need a break in a little while. I got something for your friend. Y'all can alternate. I'm not gonna treat none of you badly. As long as you don't treat me badly. You would have been better off going and offering this to these Libyan Arab widows than you would have ever been trying to pursue Becky, Keisha, Amber, Sapphire, or Karen, or Boom Shika. And it doesn't matter if Boom Shika and Bonquisha or Sapphire. Doesn't matter if their names are from English, Niglish, or if they're from a language from the continent. It does not matter. And this woman sat up here and showed it. Talking about something, you can't read. No, it's easy to find black men that can read. FBA and non. It's easy to find black men that can read. The manosphere is one such place. You got historically black colleges and universities full of black males that have to be able to read at age appropriate and grade appropriate level to get into these universities, let alone stay in them. But you want to sit up here like a ditzy bitch. The ditzy bitch you are. And talk about they just can't read. Meanwhile, the niggas that can't read, that really genuinely can't read, probably would not be around you that much unless you go looking for them. Or unless your Nigerian superiority you want, of which you want to pretend, does not serve to get you into environments devoid of those niches. That's the Kroof. KROOF. That's the reality of it. Always got some shit to talk. And then want your men to be in on it. No. See, the thing is, Tariq Nasheed, I want y'all to notice something. Although he married a woman whose mom was not black, he wants to talk this, he wants to talk as if the sisters are just, this strong backbone of the community. No, they're not. And he goes, I mean, he will go in on non-FBA black folk a little bit too readily, just a bit. Now, he'll give credit to the ones that rock with us, but he's too quick to go in on the ones if they have on those who just have a disagreement. And his followers tend to be worse than him. Dennis Sperling focuses a little bit too much on the ones that got mad trash to talk about black Americans. He'll give credit to the ones that don't, but he doesn't even focus on them. They don't get nearly the focus that trash talkers do. What saves him is that he will also go in on non-black immigrants that are not allies and even traitors or enemies. He'll go in on them too. So he doesn't just lay it in on the black immigrants. It's not just them. And that's kind of what saves his bacon a bit. But his followers are even worse. Anybody see a pattern here? Or is it just me? But the thing is that when guys start getting in on this ADOS gangbanging, you will notice that in the process of this, there's something that goes with it. They get soft on the Tgis. Shout out to AC for that terminology. And again, shout out to Staley in my community post for that term, pink wall of silence. We need to use that, spread that. But that softness, they start softening up towards Keisha as long as she's FBA. Well, you know, we're stronger together. No, Ninja, they done already shown you. As a matter of fact, a lot of the ADOS gangbanging is encouraged by them. They taking advantage in the ADOS gangbanging. They like that idea. They would rather see some ADOS gangbanging. They would much rather see something like that than to see black men of various nationalities talking and comparing notes, because they know goddamn well that their asses have been hypermasculine as a pattern. That they've been high Bristol-maniac, really hard on black men in traditional settings. They know this. They know that they done had some of the sharpest tongues against their men. The sharpest. At the same time that women of other races have looked at black men and said, oh, these are men. That while this is happening, they're sitting up looking at black men and saying, oh, they ain't manly enough. They will look at a black man with muscles that she'll never have, with a dingling bigger than she can handle, and more money than she can ever spend in her life, and she will scrutinize that man, and they've been doing this since before non-black men ever set foot in Africa. And they know they've been doing this, and that's why it is that they don't mind turning around and trying to tell us black men to not trust each other based on nationality. And then they want to turn around later on and try to come in and act like peacemakers if it really gets out of hand. Or we're the peacemakers. We're the ones that told them to sit down at a table and talk. We were the mediators. Yeah, I guess you wanted to be the mediator because you did not want us to sit up and say, wait a minute, bruh, did she come to you and ask you if she could mediate? Wait a minute. Did she ever tell you anything about me that caused you to want to fight me in the first place? Because she told me some shit about you that made me think you were my enemy. And I'm about to ask you now if that shit was true. See, that's what they're hoping doesn't happen. They will turn around and start this stuff, or just egg it on, or exaggerate it. And then later on, if there are any peace talks that happen in between black men of various nationalities, they're going to want to turn around and say, see, we did this. Well, I got with my sister from Nigeria, And she contacted this Jamaican that she knew. Wait, hold up. I thought we was fighting. How she knew a Jamaican and she Nigerian? How they just know each other and have each other's number? Huh? And then we got with the Malian and the Haitian and the Guyanese woman, and we told them, and they all agreed, they gonna go to their men and say, listen, what about some peace talks? I'll schedule it. I'll find a neutral place. So we agreed to be the neutral party for our men to make peace because they was the ones doing all the fighting. Yeah, why were they doing the fighting? Because you told them they weren't men if they didn't fight. You high Bristol maniac, hyena, monkey bitch. Well, we told them that they needed to open up some books and read and learn something. Yeah, when they volunteered to do that on their own, you called them all kinds of faggots and non-men and non-black. Mostly non-men. Because they're black and they like to read, so then you called them all kinds of Urkels and shit. But then you told them to read and it was okay because now you can take credit. You narcissistic, high Bristol maniac, hyena, monkey bitch. You lying, narcissistic, high Bristol maniac, hyena, monkey bitch. And how do we know this? Because the sisters that were not with this from day one must exist, but they've been silenced. Oh, it's unreasonable to believe that the sisters that really ain't in on the bullshit don't exist. There are too many of them. Whatever the nationalities, it's unrealistic to believe they don't exist. AC will tell you, and he goes hard in the paint on sisters. He says, my channel's Keisha free. I get it. But that man will sit up and tell you. He has said, no. They must exist. They must, but you just ain't gonna find them. He said that, and if they're really any good, why ain't they jumping out at you? When they gonna come out and try to get you, knowing that you gotta sort through all kinds of no good ninjas to find them? They know that they're needles in the haystack. It's their job to rise up like needles towards you as if you were a magnet, because they know you can't find their asses. So why they hiding? What is a straw hay gonna do against an actual needle anyway? They know this. And this woman is talking that shit on that video clip, talking about she don't date black American men, but when she even just talks to us, we can't read and write. She knows this too. She gets that. And I can tell you now, y'all want to know a secret before I go, because you've been patient with me for long enough on this long ass jet black air flight, and I appreciate that. I'll try to work on being more brief. If y'all work on, each of you sending one or two on the Cash App, then I work on brevity. I'll start writing more and preparing more when I see that. And if, some of y'all say, well, I ain't got Cash App, that's cool. If you still wanted to support, you could go to the Jet Black Air Lounge. I'm about to get more active on that too when I get back into Saudi Arabia, inshallah. But yeah, man, I'm gonna tell y'all, it's great. I'm gonna let y'all know right now, man. You wanna know a secret about why a lot of these black nations have some of the corruption that they have? And this is true for other nations that have corruption too. But when it comes down to black folk, I've seen a pattern. And I'm not gonna sugarcoat this shit. In black nations where you see a good bit of corruption, that is also where you see some of the stankiest attitudes that the sisters have towards black men of whatever nationality they might be. Nigeria, which is known for its corruption, largely because of its southern region. In the South is chock full of women that would even so much as tell you, well, if this man is not going to pay me, why would I sleep with him? As rare as wealthy men are in that country, as unrealistic as it is, the women on social media there will sit up and say to you, why would I marry a man if he's not wealthy? They will talk about themselves like they are goods that you can afford. They may hate poverty. Hell, everybody hates poverty. But their thing is, it's the man's fault that they're poor. They have, the women very much so have a might makes right and money makes it okay philosophy towards life and towards men. They got attitude problems. And it's a part of the culture, at least in the South. It's not unchecked, but it's a part of the culture. And Sudan is like that. The women will even tell their sons in Sudan. And the Sudanese men are really nice. They really are. Sudanese people in general tend to be nice. But the women go ham on the men and question their manhood all the time. They will sit up and say things like, well, all the real men died in the battle with the British back in the 1800s. The battle has a name, and they'll say all men died in the battle of whatever. I forgot its name. That's a saying they have in Sudan. And they have a saying, it is the coward that lives to raise his children into adulthood and see his grandchildren. You know a man didn't make up that saying. The Sudanese women will sit up and tell their sons, you pay everything. That's your job as a man. Okay, Islamically they're right. But then gonna turn around and say, well, don't be too bossy with your wife. What? I mean, I don't sit up and say, act like your wife has no brain, no mind of her own. I don't tell you that. Don't marry a woman if she doesn't. She's a woman. It's not a marriage then. But that's not what they mean when they say it. They will sit up and say, you're not the head of the household. Really, she controls the house, but you take care, you pay for everything. God damn it, that means I control the house. Sudanese women will tell this to their sons. Would you want to go to Sudan right now? And I'm not talking about because of its economy. I'm talking about because of the political violence there. And there are actually 3 states right now that are safe. The violence is not in 3 of them. I forgot which ones they are. You'd probably have to go through an international airport in the capital to get to them, and that's not safe. But yeah, you would not want to go to Sudan. I wouldn't want to go right now. Because its women are hard on their men. So if you cross-reference where you got political violence going on in a black nation, check and see where you have this political violence, and you can also verify and check that the women do not give their men hell and don't have a pink wall of silence. Now, you see why now you see why I sit up and I say, I'm not going to be divisive about nationalities. Not doing that. And the gender war still ain't over. Now you see why I shake hands with my brother as long as he gonna shake my hand back, and he means it. I'll shake hands with my brother or my cousin from another nationality. A traitor's a traitor even if he's FBA. But you see now why I shake hands with them and I turn around and look at a sister and be like, you start with me as an individual just like that man does. But yeah, there's a double standard here. I'm not assuming the best about you till I see it. I'm keeping an eye out in case you want me to be fighting with other brothers over some bullshit. No, this gender war ain't over. Now you see why I'm gonna do that. Now you see why I got that double standard. No, there's a gender war between black men and black women. Hell, between black men and white women. Between men and Western women. There's a gender war. As long as you got a pink wall of silence. Especially if you're gonna keep your sons beyond that wall. But even if you're not, we got a pink wall of silence. Bitch, if you're not gonna confess, we in a gender war. If you're gonna try to manipulate any man in ways you would not tolerate, we got a gender war. You wouldn't tolerate it done to you, but you won't do it? Bitch, we in a gender war. But when I meet that black man, it ain't no nationality wars. They're just battles individually if he chooses one. And if he don't, then ain't no battle, nor is there a war. Yeah, that's a double standard, but now you understand why. And that's why I tell you, gentlemen, do not look at sisters' standards on average like they mean something. You look at what is reasonable for any woman as a standard, and you take that to heart and take that to account. If my daughter-in-law wants something that is normal and reasonable and just and fair from my son, and she's listening to my son, and my son ain't returning or reciprocating, not the listening, but giving something that's reasonable in exchange, I'm gonna side with her against him. But that's the difference. That's different from sitting up and looking at what these sisters and these other Western women too, and non-Western sisters are looking at black men to do for them in order to try to dazzle and impress them and justify them liking brothers. That's different. Do not look at what sisters, Western or non, and don't look at what Western women in general want from men and act like that's some kind of natural standard by which to measure anything. That's why I tell you that. Don't look at what they want like, yeah, I need to be doing that. No, indeed. And that's because what they're going to want is always going to lead you to something that you know is immoral, that they know is immoral, and that they will not tolerate you asking of them. You think black women of any nationality that live in the West would tolerate you telling them that they need to be fighting with each other for cultural reasons? No. But they want to tell you that your manhood and your black masculinity, your masculinity in general, is under question if you shaking hands with black men of other nationalities. They want to tell you that stuff and want you to listen. How is that fair? How is what they're saying reasonable when they would never listen to the same reason in the opposite direction? Now you know why I tell you, look at where there's black political violence in the nation, and then look and see, what do those men tell you about how their women treat them on average? And see the pattern emerge. And if you want men to free themselves from this, let these men start looking at the women and their society and start saying, no, you know what that bitch wants, what her standards are, requires a goddamn violent situation to acquire to get to impress that bitch. And to keep her ass, never mind, I'll marry another sister from a more reasonable mindset and culture, and if I don't find her, god damn it, I'll marry a non-sister. I might even just jump over to other sisters and go marry a non-sister if they show more interest. That is reasonable. Because these men of any race will tell you when they lived in the West, they will tell you, and sometimes they'll say this about any women at all, that women do not help you win. They sit at the finish line and wait to screw the winners. Some of these men will tell you this about West Anisha. Some of these men will tell you this about women in general. Well, I'm here to tell you that in many cases, the black woman, regardless, I won't say regardless of, but the black woman of many nationalities and cultural groups is worse about that and has been for longer than women of other cultures. I'm here to tell you that. Boy, look, that Melanesian woman, she ain't been to Africa in 50,000 years. But that Melanesian woman of Papua New Guinea, y'all probably didn't notice. Yeah, that Melanesian woman from Papua New Guinea would not have wanted a man. It's been a long time in their culture that some of them did not want men that had not killed men, that they did not want men that did not consume human flesh. Oh yeah, fucked up, isn't it? Yeah, right? I know, you're surprised. I was. And that's the Melanesian black woman. 50,000 years outside of Africa. Look at her Bristolmania. Meanwhile, the Tanzanian woman back in Africa, in one of the oldest human inhabited parts of the continent, longest, does not have a reputation for this. As far as I know, that ain't their thing. Yeah, look at that. And some would say, well, you know, South Africa is the leading African economy. Yeah, but you got violence going on there. And that's where sometimes it's political, but a lot of times it has to do with crime. What is crime about? It's about that money. And what is it that these men, what is one of the most expensive things they ever gonna pay in their lives? Lobola, to get married, and they get married to a bitch that's got a high likelihood of cheating on his ass and handing him somebody else's baby to raise like it's his own. I saw where, I saw the video clip just like you all did, and I think it was on Average Man Unplugged's channel. Shout out to Rome. Or maybe it was Passport Tgis, but I saw the video clip in which one man from South Africa, he was either black or colored. To me, that's the same. Sat up and was talking about how he found out that the man he thought was his dad wasn't, and he had anxiety from then on. Man's gonna have to take Prozac and Xanax for the rest of his mother cuss word life, probably, because his mom was trifling. That's South Africa. And that's where you got a lot of violence going on. You will see a correlation. You start examining this and you're gonna find a correlation. It may not even be just high rates of paternity fraud or paternity discrepancy when the mom really don't know and she just guessing. It may not even necessarily be that. That's a hell of a sign, but it may not be that. Just look at ask the men what the attitudes that women have towards them are like, and then cross-reference them with high rates of violence in their countries. And you're gonna see some shit. And that's why I'm sitting up looking at this broad, and I don't care what a nationality is. If you sit up there and talk about black American men can't read, or you even so much as say that black men of another nationality can't read. And I know enough about that nationality to know that they're all over the spectrum in terms of literacy in their first language. I'ma chew your ass up for it. Bitch. With no apologies. Now, if there's a nationality that really suffers from that, and I really don't know, then I'm gonna look into it. Before I say anything, But I know black American men are all over the spectrum when it comes down to literacy. But most of us that are on social media at least, and most of us that have access to have conversations with educated black women have some literacy. A good bit of it. That's why when some of you that agree with me leave these niggliterate comments on my channel, yeah, man, you right, I support you, and you leave it in all caps or no caps, no punctuation. I don't know where the sentences are. That's why I said no, And I might just take the comment off. Not because I hate you, not because I disagree. It's because I don't want somebody coming along and pointing a finger at you, and I don't want you misrepresenting brothers that can read and write correctly in their first language. I don't want you doing that to them. I go on the Passport Bros app. They got one guy on there. All he does is talk about, help get me out the matrix, let's go. No punctuation, no capitalization. Sometimes up spelling. And he's never making progress. I'm so sick and tired of these American bitches, let's go, passports up. Yeah, punctuate, nigga, down. Nigga, spell passport with 2 S's. 3 if you pluralized it. Damn, bruh. I gotta look for these dudes, though. I know most brothers can read and write. So I know she was lying about us. I don't know what the Malawian male literacy rate is, but the minute someone gets up and says you Malawian males are illiterate or nigliterate, I'm gonna look into it and see. I'm gonna find out. And if I find out the bitch lied, I'm gonna jump on her ass. Now you understand why I started this without the peace greeting. Because sisters need to check that goddamn attitude. And I don't care if somebody can point and say, well, racially speaking, black women across the board have higher rates of testosterone, so some of that's natural. I don't give a fuck, because they got higher rates of estrogen too. Naturally speaking, black women can be either more feminine or more masculine. They've already done this and looked into it. Yeah, they got more testosterone. They also got more estrogen. So why they gotta sit up here and act like they're too much of a man for their men, and then want to turn around and blame other men for not wanting their ass? Goddamn, bitch. You could have gone either way, and you decided to sit up and say, well, I mean, I ain't gay, but these men sure is. No, bitch, you are gay. How do I know? If you get locked up in prison, all that shit you wouldn't do with a husband, you're gonna do with another woman you can never marry. At least according to your own religious rules. Oh yeah. All of a sudden, as quickies in the bathroom are good enough. But you get married, and you'll go the whole marriage and say, nope, not one quickie in the bathroom for the husband. Not a one. I want the whole marathon every motherfucking time. Nope. I want a 20-minute massage and then 40 minutes copulation. Nope. No quickies. And nope, he can't have nobody else. And I'm not going to do him more than twice a week. And then when he's premature because of that, I'm still going to blame his ass. That's what you offer. But when you go to prison, oh, you dabble. Y'all be doing that more than men. Prison guards said it. That's what they say. They say that y'all get down with each other in prison more often than the men do. The women in the prison just expect every new woman coming into the prison to get a girlfriend or boyfriend within a short time. It don't take them that long. I want to talk about black men are gay. Nah, bitch, your ass is. 6 months in county, and you've been gone through 5 girlfriends or fake boyfriends. And you turn around and go 5 years. Actually, you won't even go 5 years. You'll go 5 years without boning a responsible black man or smashing a responsible black man, but you will go 10 years in a situationship with a no good ninja because he's no good. And you give him hell. Not one quickie. You just don't care if he gets it from elsewhere as long as you can't prove it. But you wouldn't be with him if he wasn't. I want to call these men sassy. When you got a lot of men that are doing life and they ain't messing with no other male inmates. And they won't turn around. You get locked up just in county for a little while where I had to try it, I was in there for 3 months. What the hell, bitch? So sex ain't important to you until it's with another woman. Then you can't do without it, and you won't call men gay and sassy for things like practicing good hygiene, breathing, having a Velcro wallet, or not having children by age 30. But you want him to be childless so that he can take care of your kids. No. See, if that woman that was talking that trash about African-American men can't read really just had a problem with FBA attitudes towards education, if she really had an issue with that, then she would have been talking about the anti-educational attitudes that sisters have and how they discourage brothers, and then she'd have got on brothers for listening. That's not how she attacked it. Now you know why I spent this hour and a half on this Jet Black Air flight telling you all that I've been telling you. If she really had the gripe she said she had, she would have said something different. I hope that landed this plane for you. Thank you for listening and for being patient. I mean that from the bottom of my black heart and from the depths of my black mind. Thank you for flying with us here again on Jet Black Air, where the phrase Jet Black is also a verb. Keep Jet Black with us till the wings and the wheels fall off. Gender, justice, forever.